Live, we're live.
Right. It's a fun place.
Hi to those of you watching. We're getting ready to get started right now. We're kind of bringing everybody together, and yeah, we'll get going here in just a second. I'll turn my microphone on. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little easier. Okay. Hi. You guys all ready to go? Yes? All right. Let's go ahead and turn that on. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here this morning. So we're going to get started with our presentation. Can you still hear me on the, did it cut out? Is it working? Okay, I'm just going to type and make sure that it's in there. Good. Snug. Okay. We're going to start our little presentation here about ChatGPT and AI and chatbots in education. So my plan for this session, these are like a whole bunch of notes and a whole bunch of slides that I have from, you know, blog posts that I've written, some of the other presentations, just stuff that I've been seeing and everything. And so my hope is to kind of like hustle through the slides and give you all the stuff that you need, and maybe have enough time for questions at the end. And then if we don't have enough time for questions, I'll be here for a little bit, so we can just sit and chat if you want to and everything. So if you want some resources about this, and I'm saying this for all of you back home as well, if you want some resources for this that you can hang on to later, you can always go to ditch.link/AI. That's this great big comprehensive blog post that I wrote about how to use ChatGPT in the classroom. I was just telling the in-person people that I was having a little excited moment because the New York Times linked to that article. So very excited about that. Thanks for obliging me there for a moment. And ditch.link/FETC23 will get you to all of my FETC presentation resources. Every session that I'm doing at FETC, it's got like slides and resources and live streams to some of them. So, so feel free to check that out if you want to. Okay, you all got your running shoes on? Ready to run through? I'm gonna try not to like overwhelm you and go too much, but all right. Here we go. Let's get going. First of all, if you are here in person, you got a chance to win a copy of my book. So you know what? I've got that link to the Google form and everything, but there's like 7 of you here. So you know what? We're going to skip the link and we'll just do the book giveaway in a little different way. So, all right. Let's go on to the next thing. Hi, my name's Matt, author of Ditch That Textbook and 4 other books, taught high school Spanish for more than 10 years, been thinking a lot about this ChatGPT and AI thing, been playing with it some, got some things to chat with you. So what's everybody thinking right now? I could ask that as a theoretical question and we could have like a whole 10-minute discussion about it probably, right? But I'm starting to see that as far as my microphone goes, it's still not liking me very much. Sorry. As far as students go, when they find out about this, it's like, ooh, can I use this to write my English essays? You know, like, can I use it to do my math homework? The funny thing is that sometimes kids don't even know about this yet. And the teachers find out about it and they're freaking out about it. And they're like, you kids, if you use that AI to do your homework, I'm going to X, Y, and Z. And the kids are like, say what? Now I need to go figure out what this thing is, you know? So it's like, that doesn't help. The teachers are going, oh my goodness, how will I run class when students can ask a chatbot to do everything? And that's a valid question. We're going to dive into that. But then you've also got the IT staff going, oh my gosh, we've got to get this blocked immediately. Maybe that's going to solve the problem. Maybe that'll make everything go away, right? Is it going to make everything go away? No, I don't think so. So let's start here with some basic definitions. And I'm gonna take these slides and kind of like embed them onto the on the roll. I think I failed to mention earlier, we are obviously here at the Samsung booth here at FETC, surrounded by all of these cool interactive displays. And so you're gonna get to see this particular one at work while I'm doing this presentation. So you get to see some of the features. Some of you all have already kind of seen a couple of those before we got started. So let's start with some definitions of some of the most important terms, because we're all still trying to get up to speed on this thing, right? So first of all, These are some of the I got these out of order a little bit. These are some of the big questions that we're going to cover. We're going to do the definitions. How's it going to impact education? How do I teach tomorrow, knowing that this exists? Can I use it as a teaching tool? Should we block it? What are some resources? We're going to kind of like hop through all of that stuff while we're here today. So, question or definition one, what is AI? Which I think all of us are trying to wrap our brains around. So artificial intelligence, obviously what AI is, computers and machines performing tasks that would normally require human intelligence. These are the kinds of things that humans usually did, but now because of machine learning and artificial intelligence, we don't have to do them. Trained on a data set. That means that the technology that runs ChatGPT, for instance, has gathered together all of this data from the entirety of the internet and has taken it into this data set and has learned how to look at it and learned what to do with it over like millions and millions and millions of repetitions. And it's improved by interaction with humans. If you use ChatGPT, did you know that you're actually training ChatGPT on how to do its job better? Every interaction we have with it makes it smarter and makes it better. So if you've ever wondered why ChatGPT has been free for all this time, and it hasn't been free to OpenAI, by the way. OpenAI is the company that that created ChatGPT. I've read that it costs them $100,000 a day. I'll say that again, $100,000 a day to run ChatGPT. And they're not just doing that out of the goodness of their heart. They are outsourcing the training of their artificial intelligence to us. Let's keep moving. What is ChatGPT? This is the big, this is the one product. It's artificial intelligence trained by OpenAI. Really kind of like trained by all of us, right? The goal of this particular product is to answer questions and provide information. It's supposed to be conversational, interacts conversationally, it understands natural language because it's studied lots of interactions that humans have had, and it's learned what kinds of words humans use to interact with each other and in what way. Not a physical being, does not have feelings, does not have emotions. Even though we feel like sometimes it's doing such a natural job, we kind of forget that. No personal experiences to draw upon. And if you ask it, it will tell you that sometimes. Like, go ask ChatGPT, how do you feel about this? And it'll say, I don't have emotions. I'm not trained to have emotions, So ChatGPT is the product du jour. There will be more of them, but this is just the one for right now. And what is GPT-3 in general? GPT stands for Generative Pre-Trained. Let me try that again. I'll just hold it. Generative Pre-Trained Transformer. Generative meaning it makes things. Pre-trained. And then transformer means it takes the data and transforms it into something that's helpful for all of us. Trained on the large text data set. This is text AI, right? Not image AI, which is another kind of AI that exists. But we're not talking about that here. It can do translation work, it can do summarization, it can answer questions, it can generate text for us. It's the engine, GPT-3 is the engine that lots of text-based AI will run on. So what I'm going to do real quick, since this is kind of like one of those key terms, I'm going to use the Samsung Interactive Display to capture this page. Notice that I'm running this in the browser. There's like a built-in web browser inside of this thing. So when I hit capture, check this out. I'm going to make the browser really little. This is an image. And then back behind this image, back behind this is the roll. It's kind of like a whiteboard, right? So I can take this image and I can hit merge image and it sticks it right there into the roll. So if you're browsing the web and you want to hang on to things as notes for your digital whiteboard, so to speak, this is an easy way to do it. I showed some of you this earlier. I'm really doing this for your sake on this part here. And you see all of this in the image and you're like, it's funny, I'm holding this up to my mouth subconsciously, I think it's the microphone. So I look at this and I go, oh, it's got the header and it's got all those like little black boxes off to the side. We don't want that. Let's just get rid of them, right? Now it's just like anything else. It's just like written text. I can just use my hand to erase it away, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that's what the board will do. Let's keep going. Am I going too fast? You guys doing okay? All right, awesome, great. Let's keep going. How is this going to impact education? Again, you all probably have some thoughts on this as well. So couple of things to consider here. Number one, students can use ChatGPT to do their assignments. Depending on what the assignment is, they can do that. You know, I'm putting some of the like kind of probably obvious things up here because, you know, not everybody's thought through all of this in the same way. So there are certain assignments that students could plug into ChatGPT and have the bot do for them. Yes, it is possible. Number two, Turnitin and other plagiarism checkers. You know, do that instead. Sure. Stick with me. We'll get the hang of this. All they have to do is click a button to leave. You guys have to actually stand up and walk out. So I'm kind of like loving on you all at home because I don't want you to leave while we're having microphone issues. Sorry. Can you hear me? Can we go up a little bit? Can we go louder? Can we go louder? We're going louder. And make sure that our folks at home can hear me. We're going, she's still twisting the buttons. Is that sounding pretty good? Okay, okay. All right, is that as loud as it'll go? Yep, okay, all right. I'm hoping you all can still hear me. If it's not, I will get it fixed by the next live stream, I promise, okay? So these are some of the things that it can, hang on a second. Like, watch me knock this whole thing over. So these are some of the things it can do. Number two, Turnitin and other plagiarism checkers can't catch it. There are these things called GPT checkers or like GPT. They're trying to figure out if it's been generated by artificial intelligence. They do okay. They're not 100%, which means that there are going to be false positives. There's going to be things that you throw into one of those AI checkers, and it's going to say, oh, this was definitely created by a bot, but it wasn't. That's what would make me nervous to use it as a teacher. Number three, schools and districts will try to block it, but that won't stop much. Think about the kid who needs to do some work in class, and they realize that ChatGPT is blocked, and they go, hey, Mr. Miller, can I go to the restroom? Go down to the restroom, they go into the stall, they get their phone, and they generate a response in ChatGPT. Email it to themselves, go back to class. It's not going to stop it, right? What's next? Let's go to the next slide. Maybe. Oh, I'm jumping way too fast here. Nope, that's it. This quote is from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, because he's had some of these questions. These are things that people are curious about. He says there may be ways that we can help teachers be a little more likely to detect the output of GPT-like system. But honestly, see, he's even getting honest with us about this too. A determined person will get around them. Let's ask also, have you found students that are able to get around stuff like Turnitin and plagiarism checkers? I mean, like he says, a determined person can find ways to get around this stuff. It's a big picture question we've got to ask ourselves, like, are we in this to like clobber kids on the head for trying to get around our system, or is that how we're going to spend all of our time and energy? Okay, number four, ChatGPT does have its limitations. For instance, it does generate incorrect information sometimes. It does occasionally produce harmful and biased content. That's part of having a data set. Data sets have limitations. And so I think that the people who are running ChatGPT are seeing what some of those limitations are, some of those biases are, and they're trying to fix them as best as possible. It does have limited knowledge of events after 2021 because the data set was created then. Sometimes people think this is kind of like a great big fancy search engine, but it's not. It's really in a box. It's a box full of robots. That's a really weird way to describe this, but it's like it doesn't have access to the internet every single day. So if you asked it what the weather was in Tucson, Arizona 2 days ago, it's going to have no idea. So it's training itself to use its own data set. It won't make ethical decisions for you. It even tells you that that's not its job. And it also seems to struggle with math. I'm seeing lots and lots. I know, I don't get that either. I'm seeing lots and lots of math teachers that'll post on Twitter and be like, y'all, our jobs are safe. Look at this. And it's trying to say, like, I saw that somebody asked it a question about, how long it takes, like a baby in utero to develop before it's born. And it asked how long would it take for 9 pregnant mothers? And it said it would take 1 month each for each of those 9 pregnant mothers. It gets confused, right? It's still not there yet. Remember, we're still in early days. And the earlier session I did about ChatGPT, I was saying this version is like the MySpace of artificial intelligences. We're in the... You digging that one? Yes, I made the sketchnoter laugh. Yes, awesome. So it's like super, super early days, right? Is that going on your note? Yes, it is. It's going to make it on the note. I'm going to show you all the sketch note whenever we're done, okay?
Like the beginning of Wikipedia.
What's that?
The beginning of Wikipedia.
Like the beginning of Wikipedia. And it was, with Wikipedia, it was limited and there weren't a ton of articles on it. That's a better analogy, actually. I like that.
It's not funny, though.
It's not, well, yeah.
Yeah. More accurate, not as funny.
More accurate, not as funny. I give you that. Yes, absolutely. School and class uses of ChatGPT aren't all bad. We'll get to that. Students will have to learn how to navigate life with AI. That's another big thing, right? Like, this is their life. This is going to be part of their world. If you think about it, if you have a kid right now that's 10 years old, if they graduate college and they're like 23 when they graduate, that's 13 years that AI is going to get to grow up and become more and more a part of our lives. When they hit the workforce, this kind of AI will have grown 13 years, and integrated itself into life. We have to figure out ways to prepare them for that as best as we can. Okay, so how can I teach with this tomorrow? Oh my goodness, I just found out about ChatGPT. I have an essay assigned to my students on Thursday in my lesson plans. Like, what are we going to do? How am I going to deal with this, right? Couple things. You can go low tech as a stopgap, right? So starting to kind of Linda, I really hate that as an option, and I don't even really want to mention it as an option, but there is a possibility until we understand this a little bit better that you could. But there are lots and lots of negative side effects of that. For instance, accessibility. You've got all of these great accessibility tools in your school technology. You put something up on a board like one of these Samsung interactive displays, and it's big and it's colorful and anybody in the room can see it. If you don't use that technology, all of a sudden they can't see things. Reading, writing, there's all of these barriers that starts to introduce. Collaborating and discussing, if we kind of highlight that a little bit, those conversations that students have about what they're seeing, about what they're learning, and even what they're generating through AI can be still a really positive thing. So it's kind of like making sense of the data that we're getting. That's like another thing that we can do. In fact, yeah, let's do, you know what? I'm gonna grab both of those. I'm gonna grab one of these. I'm just kind of grabbing a couple of these little by little by little. So let's capture this one and stick it over in our notes too. What do you say? It's my presentation. I guess you just got to watch. So there we go. We'll merge that one in. There we go. So maximize that again. 2 other things real quick. One is show learning creatively. What if students are creating with what they learn? That's the kind of thing that's not easy to plug into a bot. And then finally, using memory strategies like brain dumps. This is based on cognitive science, on things that form long-term memory. Asking students, hey, what do you remember from class yesterday? What are 2 things that are important about this topic? What are 3 things you remember from class today? As a little exit ticket. You do stuff like that, that comes straight out of their brains. And it's different for everybody, which is good. Okay, let's keep going. How are we doing on time? Can I use this to teach and learn? What do you all think the answer to that is? Yeah, I like the vibe that I'm getting from all of you is that you're on board with that, right? And hopefully if you're watching this at home, you're in the same boat. The longer AI is around, the more we'll experiment with it and share what works. That's the thing I love about the education world in general, is that the longer that teachers use something, the more that they share what's working and they share what doesn't. And then we all get better because of it, right? Let's talk about some of those ways that we can use it. So that link I gave you earlier, ditch.link/AI, I go into all of these and there's like a little summary for every single one of these. This is the one that New York Times linked to, actually. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with this. For instance, use it to remix student work. What if a student writes something for you and you copy paste it into ChatGPT and you say, turn this into a soap opera. Turn this into a 30-second commercial. Turn this into a haiku. We were doing that in our session yesterday. I heard about this from Donnie Piercy, who's the recent Kentucky Teacher of the Year, and he's been doing this with his students, and it's been a lot of fun. Ask it for definitions on a variety of levels, like a definition for a 3rd grader, for a 6th grader, for whatever, right? Ask it for feedback on student work. You copy and paste student work in and ask it. See, it can be kind of like the first line of defense for feedback with students. Now, granted, they have to take it with a grain of salt and understand that it's a bot and not their teacher that's providing it. I love this one. I saw this on Twitter from a teacher named Sarah Dillard. She said, I want to put it into the think, pair, share thinking routine. What if you think, ChatGPT, pair, share, and then ChatGPT again? Just start adding it into that. That could be cool. Grade the bot. Ask it to produce a response and ask the students, what do you think about this? How would you change this? Where did it get it wrong? I have even more. Let's go to 11 through 20. Use it to summarize text. Did any of you ever use Spark Notes or Cliffs Notes? Okay, it can do a similar version of that. Ask it to write your lesson plans. I could imagine, right? Yeah, can I get an amen? Like, if it takes you, let's say, 20 minutes to do your lesson plans, and what if you run the first draft through chat? Ask it to create the first draft, and you look at it and go, ooh, I like that and that and that. I'm going to use that. See, what you can also do is ask ChatGPT, do it again. It does the work brand new every single time. So it might give you different answers. You can take 2 or 3 different versions of it, stick it into your lesson plans, and it may end up saving you time. Take several responses and make a better product. Ask students, instead of writing their own prompt as a kind of like a change of pace activity, let's say, give it this prompt, have it generate 5 responses, pick and choose the best part and make the best essay out of that you can. If you talk about students who struggle with writing or are kind of like paralyzed by a blinking cursor on a white screen, this can be a good scaffolding technique to get them creating with text without having to write every single word. We could go on and on and on with this. This is all available, of course, at ditch.link/AI. There's Sam Altman again. Generative text is something we all need to adapt to. We adapted to calculators and changed what we tested for in math class, I imagine. This is a more extreme version of that, no doubt, but also the benefits of it are more extreme as well. So like, the calculator analogy, I'm seeing lots of people use. I've used it a lot recently. It's not a like perfect comparison, but it is something that we've adapted to. Let's keep moving. You all still with me? You doing okay? Yeah? Okay. We got 5 and 6. Should we block ChatGPT? We've kind of already established this as a group, so I'm going to kind of hustle through this a little bit. Should we block it? So the yes case, what would we do that for? Well, we think it would slow or stop students from using it to do their assignments. This will buy teachers time to learn about it and how to use it. That's the only argument that I actually like about it. I would almost say, if anybody felt like they had to block it, I'd say only do it temporarily. Buy teachers time to figure out what it is, how it works, and again, knowing that students may still use it. If you feel like you have to block it, do that. But what's the option for no? We need to help students thrive in an AI world. Blocking it creates equity issues. Have you all ever thought about that? Think about the New York City public schools ban on ChatGPT right now. They blocked it. All of those students aren't getting access to this tool and this type of technology and are not getting repetitions with it and seeing how it's used. If that were to stay all the way through graduation, those students would be missing out on years of practice with the technology that becomes industry standard in lots of industries. They get out into the world, and now if they're competing with another candidate for a job, they don't have that like lifetime of experience in the same way. And of course, it can assist in teaching and learning, right? Let's grab a copy of that real quick. Capture it. We're going to stick that into our notes too. By the way, I'm making this little notes page here so that we can all kind of like, I'm going to have this spot over here where we can write down some of the stuff that you all bring up too. We're going to make this kind of like collaborative notes. And I'll just leave it kind of like messy for now. We'll clean it up later. There we go. Back to maximize. Let's keep moving. We're almost there. Last one. What resources can help me? These are some of the things that I've seen out there. Of course, I'm going to point you to some of my stuff too. There's that post that I was telling you about earlier, ditch.link/AI. These are some of the things that I put into that post, definitions, implications. So it looks very familiar, right? These are the same 6 things that I did that on purpose. This is what I was going for. And so then these are a bunch of other resources that I've linked to off of it. Let me give you a couple of other things real quick too. There's one in particular. Here's a link that I got from my session yesterday. Kins.link/AI. My co-presenter, Ken Shelton, wrote a post. It was something about using this as an incubator for innovation or something. He has this, this interesting perspective on it and where this kind of technology could go. So that's where he's put his resources for that, if you want to go check that out. And then we've got some resources at infused.link/AI. That was our slides. I'm not sure that they're like, if you go to it like right in this moment as we're doing this live, I don't know that it's available, but I think we're going to try to put some other stuff up there as well. And then of course, all of those session resources for FETC, ditch.link/FETC23. That's where you can get that as well. So there's all of that stuff that you can use. Okay, how are we doing? Oh, it's right about time. We're gonna like land this right on the money. Oh, there's one more thing. Been demoing this board, right? Which has been pretty cool. We got to see earlier how like, as I was writing, the latency is really low, like it shows up pretty quickly. We got the browser, the roll, being able to put all those pictures on the board. If you like this thing and you're interested in it and you want to see if you can maybe get one of these in your school or something like that, I've been given a 15% off code to get one of these. So just grab, I know, right? So if you want to pass this along to one of your school leaders and be like, hey, I would love to get my hands on one of these things. You can go to, and if you're watching this at home, you can do this too. You can go to ditch.link/display, and at checkout, you use the code ditch15 with a capital D, and it gives you 15% off a Samsung interactive display just like this one, right? I mean, if you think about it, like 15% off on a purchase like this is a significant amount. You're able to use that through February 7th of 2023. So you got a few weeks to be able to use it. So that's there. Okay, we're up against the like time, so feel free to go if you need to. If like 10:30 was your cutoff and you really need to leave. But I wanted to throw it out here real quick for like questions and comments and stuff. Like for those of you that are here, and I know there are probably like comments all up and down YouTube, and I'll check some of those out later. But But you all feel free to have a discussion inside of the comments as well, and then I'll be looking at that a little bit later. What do you got, Sarah?
I heard this week that students 18 and under aren't allowed to use it.
Oh yeah.
And that was new, but like last night my son who's 15 signed in with no problem. There was no like asking.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah. So Sarah was just saying that the terms of use are 18 and over. And that, yeah. What's that?
He didn't. I signed up with him while we were on Facebook. I didn't even see it.
But also, have you ever seen kids try to get on social media before they're 18?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it happens, right? There are ways to get around it. So as far as that goes, if we want to be mindful of that as teachers, one thing we can do is we can be the users. And so if we put it on the screen and we display it, we're the users. Even if we put it on the screen, we screen capture what we get and we drop it in a document to students, we're still the users. We're just taking that product. So that's kind of like, we become kind of like the firewall and the barrier for the terms of use on that. Whenever students interact with it, like personally, that's where that comes from. What were you saying?
They didn't even ask. Like I was looking for it while my son was signing
Oh, really?
up. I didn't even see a term.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No problem.
And I think the other thing we have to be mindful of as teachers too is that kids are going to use it.
Right.
I don't think we can require them to use it, but I think we also have to know, just like with social media, like I see teachers that'll sometimes say, you can create a variety of things to show me what you know. If you want to make a TikTok, go, TikTok style video, make it in the TikTok app. I don't care. That's fine. Knowing that some of those kids have the app and they use it and they're good with it and they turn that in, like, I mean, that's kind of out of our hands a little bit. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's good. What else? Yep.
I've got an English teacher in my building who is generating the responses based on their thesis statements. Kids write the thesis statement.
Oh.
Teacher puts it in ChatGPT
Yes.
so that they don't have a record of it in their account.
Ah.
And now they have a printout of it and they have to edit it.
Okay. So the kids make the thesis statement.
Yep.
The teacher plugs it into ChatGPT. Prints them.
Yep. So the kids don't have it in their account.
And then, so they don't have it in their account. So like print it on paper.
Yep.
Do people do that anymore? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I do it too.
It's nice for editing.
Yes, and it is nice for editing. That's right. So then they've got the printed copy of it, and then they can go do whatever they need with it.
Right.
That's I've not heard that option. That's really good.
You wouldn't have to print it out if she copied and pasted it into a OneNote.
She can do that too. She can do that too.
Oh yeah, and you could copy and paste into a OneNote or a Word document or something.
Right.
You know,
No,
it
I
keeps a
like that.
record
If
of
she has a
everything
class
you've
notebook.
done.
Oh yeah,
They don't have it.
yeah. Yep.
So it makes it a little more.
Yeah, if you want to like put that barrier between the work so you don't have the digital paper trail, yeah. Or if like the text is there and you don't really mind and all of that, you can always drop it in OneNote or a Word doc or something. What's that?
You could edit on it and like
Yes,
draw
of course.
color.
Yes,
Right.
of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paper, if they
But she
don't
didn't
have a
want the
printer.
kids generated. That was the
Right.
big thing.
Yeah. If the kids generated, that is officially technically against terms of use. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Anything else? What do you say we give some of those books away? All right, good deal. So who have we got here? We got one, two. Okay, raise your hand if you don't work for Samsung and you're here for the presentation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, here's what I've got to give away. Sorry, y'all at home. I would love to give you a book, but I can't like hand it to you the same way that I can here. So just so this isn't so painful for you all at home, I'll probably go ahead and stop the broadcast and we'll go ahead and take care of this here. So if you're watching this, thank you for watching. I'll have other live streams later on. Everybody say bye to the people at home.
Show them the notes. Show them the notes.
Oh, that's right, the notes. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
Color it in right now. Here.
Yeah. Ooh, that's pretty.
It'll get prettier.
Check that out.
We got more notes over here, though.
Okay, I just got to look at the viewer count. Y'all know how many people are watching this at home right now? Currently, 71.
Wow.
It's 71 people here, so you all are amazing at home. And thanks for all of the comments that you put in there. I will check those a little bit later. Oh, I got to turn it off. Okay.